Hey y'all, so I just did my makeup for today, and out of my tray number 2, wanted to share a few of the highlights of the products that I really enjoyed. First of all, I didn't powder my face, but I did do foundation, and I love this. I think this looks so natural and dewy and skin-like without overdoing it. Like you can still see my birthmarks and moles and that sort of thing coming through, and you can still see my texture, but this foundation helped to even out my skin. And this is the House Labs foundation, which I've used probably 3 or 4 times when I first got it and then put it away. And I'm so glad that I pulled this back out. I think this might be the foundation that I take with me on my work trips because I feel like it looks super natural. What do y'all think? Like skin, like you can still see my pores and everything. And like I said, it just sort of helped to even out the texture and the look, not the texture, excuse me, the color overall. So I really, really like this. When I've used this before, I loved it, and it doesn't last forever and ever. It starts to break down probably around dinner time, but that's kind of all that I need for this. All right, and then for my eye look, which I think it looks like I have eyeshadow on, but it's not super dramatic. I use the Warm Edit from Viseart. This is the cutest little thing for travel. I do have other Visearts that I might take with me, but I used this in the crease all throughout to sort of set my eye, if you will, and then used a little bit of this in the crease also to add some color. I deepened it up with that one, and then I used this on the outer part. And this coppery shimmer was the one that I used on my eyelid. It's interesting with these Viseart shimmers because they're very sort of dry. Like if you look, see how it looks like there's a lot on there and it's chunky, but then when you put it on your skin, it just blends out so nicely and smoothly. You don't have fallout the way that you think you would, especially if you use just your finger. Oh, and then on the inner corner, I used the lighter color here down on the bottom. I didn't do eyeliner. I did do underneath the eye. Oh my God. Oh my God. You guys. Oh, thank God these little pans are magnetic. They fell out. Look at this. There were a couple that fell out, but look how easily they pop back in. That's it. They're magnetic. I didn't realize that. I have this purpley shade as the lower lash line there. So that worked out nicely. And then for my cheek color, I used this Hourglass Lighting Blush Quad Ghost. And I think, what did I use? I know what I used. I took a brush like this, which I think is supposed to be for foundation, but you can use your brushes for whatever the heck you want. Classic Base from Sonia G. And I think I just did these two colors together and just kind of patted it in, which I love. So I feel like I have some nice, color on my face, but nothing dramatic. And that's it. Oh, I did want to say that I finished the book, The River. One day I am going to get my words together. The River We Remember, not the River. The River We Remember. What a tongue twister. That's set in Minnesota. If you remember me talking about that in another video, the author is William Kent Kruger. I finished it. This is how good this book was. It's an audiobook, and I would listen to an hour here or there, and I finished it in 2 weeks. The book before, The Lessons in Chemistry, or Lessons in Chemistry rather, it took me months to finish that book because I just didn't enjoy it the way that I did this one and wanted to keep listening to The River We Remember. And so check out this video here if you want to hear a little bit more about the storyline, or look it up, like Google it and listen to a sample of it, or check out the summary of the story. I will say at the end of the book, it did do the thing that I don't love, which is that it kind of jumps the shark. The same way that a show can jump the shark, it jumped the shark in that it started to rush the details, the background details of this sort of murder mystery story in the small town of Jewel in Black Earth County, Minnesota. And it rushed it through a conversation, like I said before in my other videos, where there is a discussion that happens toward the end of the book, usually in the last quarter of the book, where somebody is being asked questions and they reveal a lot of the backstory in these sort of rush details. And I didn't love that. So I was like, oh God, here we go. This book jumped the shark too. However, I forgive it because it was really, really an interesting story at the end. And let me tell you what, the epilogue of that story had me in tears. It was so nicely written. So check that book out. I definitely would still highly advise it. I take off maybe 1 star for that little bit of rushing at the end, but a fantastic audiobook and really gripping story that will have you really interested in what happens with all the characters. So that's it for now. I'll see you in the next segment of this video. All right, so I'm traveling this week for 3 nights, and I've been stressed out about it the entire time I have known that I needed to travel. And by the way, I planned I'm the reason that I'm traveling. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. I am the reason that I have to travel for 3 nights because I wanted to bring my team together for some strategic planning for the coming year. Lord have mercy. What was I thinking planning a trip that long? But anyway, what I've done in terms of clothing, because I get really stressed out, as you all know from my previous videos, I get super stressed out when I have to think about what I'm going to pack. Everything is in the same color family. So all of the bottoms that I'm wearing this week are just like black, somewhat stretchy, work appropriate pants. And then all of my tops are this sort of kind of grayish look so that they all are uniform. I am taking these little black booties from Freebird that I just adore. I think they have a little bit of funk, a little bit of style with some purposeful distressing on them. And, they're not super dressy because my work environment is very casual in terms of like when we meet on site. People don't wear suits and stuff like I used to in previous jobs. It's a very, very casual atmosphere. Oops. And so it's totally fine to put on a little booty like this and be semi cute. So I'll wear those during the day, and then much to my husband's, is it chagrin? Is that the right word? When somebody is like displeased with something? I'm gonna pull out my brand new Keens. They are not worn, as you see. And he thinks they're just Frankenstein gross looking, but I'm gonna tell you what. These are great for walking, and we are going to be in the DC area and needing to walk to restaurants in the city. And so honestly, like I'm past the point of trying to be cute going out to dinner with my colleagues. So I'll just switch into these in the evening. And don't be grossed out. I'm going to stick it right on the shirt because they are brand new. Another thing that I really like to do when I travel, especially if I have room, is to pack some slippers that I can wear in the hotel room instead of walking in the hotel room either barefoot or just in my socks. So I stuck them over there. I'm not a germaphobe in hotel rooms. Like some people want to spray down their entire hotel room and they're worried about bacteria and germs. I'm not like that, but I do like the comfort of having that on my feet. And I will also pack a little robe. This is from off of Amazon, and I really love this. It's a very sort of stretchy material. It's not quite like a terry cloth robe, but it's something to put on at night in place of pajamas and have on while I'm getting ready in the morning. And so, it's like a little wraparound robe with 3/4 sleeves. And it's just having that little extra comfort from home that I think is really gonna make me feel comfortable in the hotel space. Later, I'll put in my little black socks, my socks that don't show, what do you call them? They're like no-show socks where they are inside of the shoe. And I'll put in my undergarments as well. Let's go look at the makeup that I am taking, because even though it's minimal, it still stressed me out. But before we look at makeup, you all know I really, really love this Under Armour book bag. I debated taking an actual like briefcase, or I have like almost like a messenger bag that you can wear across the shoulder, right? You can wear it on one shoulder or across shoulder to put my computer in and any files or anything like that I'm taking to my meeting. But I really didn't want that. It's too fussy. I like just throwing this over my shoulder. And a lot of my coworkers do the book bag thing too. We just don't fuss over that sort of stuff. I also thought about taking my Teddy Blake bag that is like the red crocodile leather material. However, the issue is my laptop doesn't quite fit in that. And so my laptop will fit in this, my files, my extra shoes. And so I can just go from like our meetings to dinner without having to go back to my hotel room if I want to do that. So yes, not the cutest, most chic thing, right? Definitely not sleek, not city appropriate in terms of looking polished and professional, but your girl's gonna rock the Under Armour bag because I'm at that point in my life where I don't have to prove myself career-wise. I'm where I want to be, and I can afford to just not be worried about how I look, if that makes sense. So here we are. I have put out all of the makeup products and so forth that I want to take, except for my travel sprays of fragrance. So we need to think about that. But I'm going to challenge myself to only use this smaller, it's called, what are you called? Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on a minute. Hold on. It's this Viseart palette. Look at this cute outer packaging. I just adore the artwork on that. Cashmere. Anyway, hello, Sky. Isn't there a Pink Floyd song with something about the sky in it? course, it's escaping me, but these are kind of cool toned colors with some neutrals in here that I think, like I could just use this quad, I could use this quad, I can do a little bit more of a jazzy look with a slightly mauvey purple tone, but there's enough in here for the 3 days that I'm going to just challenge myself to use that and not feel like I'm missing out by not bringing another palette with me. This is going to have to be the one. And so therefore I picked out 3 lipstick colors that I think go well with it, that are in the brownie, maybe pinky tone or neutral tones. Like that, you know, different tones of that are on the more matte side. I think that generally works for work occasions where I'm not worried about if my lips are overly glossed up. So that's the lip situation. Of course, I picked out 2 lip liners, one that's more neutral and one that's a little bit more warm if I want to switch it up or switch up the undertone under the lipsticks. Now, this House Labs Triclone Skin Tech Foundation looks so skin-like on me. I've been using it the past week. It's done really well, and I thought that the color was light when I first put it on my makeup tray, but realized it's not that light. It's not that light. It's actually pretty decent now. You know, I'm freshly tanned from yesterday, so my skin looks a little bit browner than normal, and some of these like darker spots will wash off as soon as I get in the shower. But anyway, this is in the color 300 medium neutral, so this is going to be my skin-like foundation for the week. And I'm going to go ahead and take the same concealer that I had last week, the Pro Longwear Concealer from MAC. And this is in a darker than normal color for me, NW25. As I mentioned before, having a tone of concealer that is either your actual skin color or even a tiny bit darker actually gives a more natural look, natural skin-like look, if you will, than if you do the typical lighter concealer that a lot of people do. Then I have my little eyebrow products. I have the pencil from Benefit, Precisely My Brow Pencil in a brownie color. And then this Kosas Air Brow Gel to help tame the hairs on my eyebrows. The Monsieur Big from Lancome mascara. Because my self-tan fades during the week, I am taking this Saint-Tropez self-tan facial bronzing mist to help keep the color on my face as consistent as possible. Of course, your little tools that you need. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the same Hourglass palette that I had in my makeup tray this past week that has that for blush. This is a highlighter. You can use this as a bronzer, and that's sort of a finishing powder. So it's an all-in-one type of palette. However, to supplement that sort of rosy toned blush that's in here, I'm bringing this Wet n Wild Pearlescent Pink, which is a dupe of the NARS Orgasm. It's a little more pinky and peachy in nature, so if you want a change in tone. Of course, I got my new set of aligners that I'll have to switch out. I'm sure y'all were really interested in hearing about that again. And then my skincare products, because I'm not flying and I'm driving, I like the privilege of being able to pack full-size products and go through my same nightly routine, which includes these here, the retinoid cream that I put on my face, and then the Good Genes serum, the lactic acid serum. And I have been using this Tatcha Indigo Overnight Night Repair, which is beautiful, thick emollient, really nice consistency moisturizer. And then in the morning, I think I'm gonna leave the essence behind and just bring my serum and my moisturizer for morning. And then you've got to get your other little products, friends. You know, my little sponge for foundation, gotta have your razor. Who am I shaving for? I don't know, because I'm wearing pants the entire time. No one's going to see my legs or my armpits, but it's just me knowing that I am clean shaven. I like the feeling of it. I am a weirdo and I like to switch out my nail polish mid-trip. So I have this polish on now, which will inevitably chip 2 days in. So you got to bring what? Nail polish remover and the cotton puffs. So anyway, this will be the one that I switch out into. I always want a nail file with me. Inevitably, I get a hangnail or I get rough edges to my nails or something like that. And it bothers me. Anyway, you see the other little products, deodorant, etc. And then I need one cleansing balm at least that I can use vigorously in the evening. The other thing that I sometimes forget to bring and I have to remember is I always need some sort of hair band or something to keep my hair back while I'm getting ready in the morning, and then a couple of clips to put my hair up into. It's because I don't like hair down all over my face as I'm getting ready. Of course, your comb and your ratty old brush to blow out your hair. I told y'all I was going to come back to this. Oh my God, this kid's toothpaste. It is because I have this weird condition called geographic tongue. And all that means is that I have ridges on the surface of my tongue that most normal people don't have. And so anything that is spicy or pepperminty or anything like that gets down in those ridges, and it's like times 10 what other people feel. So I'm very sensitive to anything like that. Like I can't have any spice in my food at all. It drives me crazy. It makes me want to cry. So I have switched to using kids toothpaste and I don't feel that, pain in my tongue. The other thing is I'm going to go ahead and take my Omnilux mask, and no one will be the wiser for it. No one at the hotel will know. I will use this in my hotel room just to keep my facial routine up. It makes me feel like I'm doing the usual and not foregoing the things that I enjoy in terms of personal upkeep while I'm at the hotel. Let's get some fragrance for the week or for the 3 days. All right, so I'm bringing many, many more travel sprays than I need, and maybe not your typical office scents, but I feel like I have the opportunity to be a little bit more adventurous on this trip. So let's see. In the office, I will probably wear Molecule 01 by Eccentric Molecules. Who doesn't like that? I've never met someone that doesn't enjoy that, at least on someone else, even if they don't want to wear it themselves. And I have Kayali Musk 12, which I think is a little bit overrated, but still nice for a great office scent, great everyday running errands. So I will use that. And then I will most likely either wear Burberry, well, maybe I'll do the Musk 12 on the way up. I don't know. And then I'd like to wear a Burberry Goddess. I ended up buying a full bottle of this. And so I was thinking of selling, well, maybe I want to sell the travel spray. You know what? Let me sell that. Let me put that aside, sell that and not use it up before I sell it to someone. So I can give them a more, full bottle. But so then we'll do Molecule 01 during the day. We'll do Kayali Musk 12 or Lise 41 from Le Labo, which is a floral, like a tropical floral, coconutty. Is it coconut in there? I don't remember. Or I may wear Milk Plus, which I know is a little bit bold for an office situation. I will probably wear one of the days La Danza del Libellule. Now, in the evening, I have Mystic Sugar that Liz, at Naturally Liz, sent me. Thank you, girl. And Rouge Smoking that Joss at Joss's Fragrance Mixology sent me. Thank you, girl. And I'm also bringing Miu Miu Fleur de Lait for evening. So like when I get back to the hotel room and I just want to unwind, I can spritz myself down with some of these sweeter, more gourmandy, maybe not, this one is not, there's gourmand aspects. Sorry about the hair on my brush. Y'all understand how that goes. Anyway, this is my lineup. All right, I'm all bathed up, hair is washed. I'm gonna let this dry and do some makeup while I'm waiting for it to dry and talk with y'all. I'm gonna put on this, which I just got in an Amazon shipment. Let me tell you, they just threw it in the box. I hate that. They didn't put tape over the top. They didn't stick this in plastic and tie the plastic up. Like, what happens if this spills and you have to go through the trouble of returning it and all that? What a pain. Now, it does have this little cap, so maybe that's why they didn't do that. But still, you just never know what happens in transit. So this is the Neutrogena body oil that I'm going to lay down first. This is a tip I learned from my girl Giselle, who is at GB Fragrances. She has a channel. She hasn't posted in a while on her channel, but she is active on Instagram, and we talk quite a lot. And so she talked about using this as a base for your fragrances. It doesn't have any scent. Let's see. It doesn't have any scent. And I really want to see if it's fragrance free. It's a light sesame formula. Light sesame? What the hell's a light sesame formula? But I want to see if it in fact kind of sinks in quickly. A little bit shiny, but let's see how it works here. I just really want to do it on my arms. I'm noticing that I am drying out the skin on my arms because I tend to spray my fragrance there quite a lot. And, most fragrances have a lot of alcohol in them. And alcohol over time just dries out your skin. So she also talked about this as helping the fragrance last longer, like when you, moisturize. So, all right, so that's it. I'm just going to put it on my arms. I'm not going to do legs and all of that craziness. So I am starting a new audiobook called None of This Is True. I don't know anything about the book at all, except that it's a psychological thriller. So I saw that much and I saw really good reviews. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take a chance and use that to keep me awake on my drive up to DC, because the drive is about, this is way too much. The drive is about maybe 2.5 hours, and that's without traffic. If there's traffic, it can be 3 and 4 hours because that like Beltway area. What is it called? When you get up to DC, either coming in from Virginia or Maryland or whatever, is it Delaware? I'm trying to think what's northwest of that, whatever that is. It's called the mixing bowl, right? When you get in that DC area. And a lot of times that little section of travel highway is totally clogged up. So my goal is to leave tomorrow probably at maybe noon, and I should theoretically not run into much traffic on the way up, because the high traffic times are between probably 7 to about 9:30 in the morning, and then again in the early afternoon to evening from about 3 to 6 o'clock. It can get pretty crazy. So anyway, I figured a psychological thriller could really kind of pique my interest and keep me awake. I just used that MAC concealer that I'm always talking about that is a little bit darker in tone than my natural skin color. Well, this is not natural, it's tan, but you know what I mean. And so look, like, can you tell that I have concealer on? It just looks like my skin is smooth, my opinion. Maybe you think differently, but that my skin is smooth under my eyes. It doesn't look makeup-y in my mind. And I have been really loving, even though this is no longer available, the Stila Hide and Chic Fluid Foundation. It's a darker color that I really like, and it gives me like a skin-like texture. It's a very thin formula. See, it's a very thin formula, but it does have some staying power. It's not runny like the Pat McGrath formula, which I also love. In fact, I should probably take the Pat McGrath formula with me to DC. This is a little bit more almost like cashew in color than I would like. I maybe would want a little bit more brown tone, but that's okay. I'm going to make this work. By the time I put on bronzer, it'll all be good. So the psychological thriller, I don't know anything about the book, and I'm just looking forward to letting the story unfold and take me where it will without having any preconceived notions of what the book is about or like. But the reviews are really good, and it's a New York Times best-selling author and all of that. So cross fingers, friends. That I love it. I'm going to be traveling in a rental. Oh, update on the rental situation. Let's talk. Remember, I had that cool luxury vehicle, nice BMW SUV, but that it was all stanky. Stunk, because people had wet dogs and they were smoking pot, smoking cigarettes in there and all that. Well, as luck would have it, the tires on that thing, in the last video I said I wasn't going to go turn it in because it was too much of a hassle. So two things happened. The tires were damaged on top of everything else. The tires on the back kept deflating quickly, and my husband was having to fill them up like daily. And I was like, this is dangerous. No, like we gotta get that out of here. And it was like that since I got it. I didn't cause that damage. I drove off the lot with the tires a little bit deflated and didn't realize it till I got home. The other thing is I realized I could actually return it here. I didn't have to turn it back in to the exact same Enterprise rent-a-car that I got it from. And there's one like 8 minutes from the house. So I was like, Eureka, called them, and they switched me out and put me in a Volkswagen. Is it called a Tiguan or Tiguan? I don't know if you say the G, Tiguan. And it's got a lot less bells and whistles than that BMW, but it's so much more clean. It's clean. Imagine the privilege of driving in an actual clean car that doesn't smell like ashtrays and dog butt. So freaking disgusting in that other vehicle. So I'm really happy in it. It drives well. It's a nice vehicle. I'm happy with it. It doesn't, like I said, have all of the creature comforts, but how many creature comforts does a person need? Like on the SUV, that tailgate, it could open. You could do a setting where it had like 4 different heights that the tailgate opened to. If you want to go get your groceries out of the back of the car, for example, you could open it 12 inches. You could open it 2 feet. You could open it, 3 or 4 feet, and then all the way up. And I'm like, in what situation, other than having a low garage, where you don't want the tailgate to go all the way up and maybe hit a low ceiling or something, do you really need a tailgate to have that many different options to rise up to? That just seems so crazy to me. I can't figure things out in life sometimes, and I just scratch my head. And the older I get, the more like ornery I become about these sort of stupid little things. I've had cars with fancy features in them, and I've enjoyed some and found others to just be like frivolous upgrades that you just never really use. I am going to do a little bit of powdering today, which I have not done this week and been happy without it in terms of looking natural, but because I am going to be on camera, I don't want to look super shiny, and I'm going to use this little I'm going to use this little Becca Soft Light Blurring Powder. This was the jam back when Becca was in business. Somebody told me, did one of you tell me that Stila bought them out? Was it Buxom? Somebody bought out, well, parts of the Becca line. Was it the powders? Who knows? One of y'all out there knows, and if so, please put it in the comments for us. The other thing I wanted to share was, look, we fell in love, we meaning hubby and I, with this series called From, From. It was, I think we found it on Epics. You know how now you don't have to have cable, you can just download apps onto your Wi-Fi enabled TV and get different shows through apps. So it was on Epics before. It's now on MGM Plus. I'm going to say that again because I really want y'all to go check out From. If you liked Lost, is that what it was called? The show where there was a plane crash on a deserted island, and as the crew that survived found out that there were like supernatural forces on the island that they were trying to figure out. That show, and that was a big show. That was a big show. It's in the same sort of vein. The premise of From is that people drive through this town. They think they're just going to drive through and get on the other side and keep going. And then when they drive through the town or past this one specific thing, like it's a certain tree or something, they realize that they're just in one big loop. And they find themselves exiting the town and then going out and then coming right back around through the town. And all of a sudden they're panicked, thinking, clearly we just missed the turn or whatever the thing is. No, it's just some weird supernatural thing that happens when they pass this specific like tree marker that has them in this perpetual loop that they can no longer escape. And then they end up being like part of the town. And the other thing about the town is that during the daytime, people are safe, but at night, these zombie killers come out. This sounds so stupid, but it's super good. You have to trust me. And the way to keep the zombies away is to have like a talisman. I'm looking around for something that's a talisman. Let's say this is the talisman. You hang this on your door and then the zombies don't mess with you. They might tap on your window or something, but they can't come in. They can't come into your house. If you don't have the talisman, they can break in and the zombies eat people's guts out. It sounds so dumb, but and I'm not big into like zombie stuff, zombie apocalypse types of things, but this is a really, really good series. The actors are fantastic. The main actor, the sheriff in the town, you get really attached to him and his way of thinking. He's very stressed out, of course, about keeping the townspeople safe. And can you blame him? He's responsible for this small town. Anyway, we watched season 1 and were like obsessed and waiting for it to come back out. And then it came back out on MGM Plus. So we just finished season 2 and we're like, when's the next one coming out? It's so great for this like spooky season time here in October as we approach Halloween. Fantastically done. So interesting. And there's not any part of the storyline that gets tiring or boring or bothersome. You really get invested in the townspeople and trying to figure out, are they ever going to get out of the town? Are they ever going to escape these circumstances? There's parts here in the second season that kind of jump the shark, and I won't ruin that for you, but some parts where my husband and I were like, that got really stupid. But we loved the whole thing overall. So I would highly advise From. I have no idea what I'm doing for an eye look today. I have not planned it out, but I'm going to use this Glamazon Natural #2 from Scott Barnes. Here's the color story. It can be pretty dramatic, but I think I want to keep it light. So I would really love to hear from you all. What do you recommend in terms of TV series? I'm so sorry because I know that I have asked you all this before and you put it in the comments, and then I forgot what video I asked about that in and didn't write them down. So I promise to write down your recommendations this time. So I'm talking about like mini series like From, where there might be 8 to 10 episodes that you can binge watch. We've done Breaking Bad. We've done Stranger Things, which I cannot wait for the Stranger Things final season to come on. By the way, can I take a quick pause to say that I follow Millie Bobby Brown on Instagram. She's the main character for Stranger Things. And I don't know, I have this obsession with that young lady, like I was supposed to be her mother or something. It's so stupid. She's 18 years old and a young businesswoman doing her thing. I'm proud of her, like she's a family member of mine. So you know how people have celebrity obsessions? For some reason, I'm obsessed with this young lady. It is so ridiculous. It makes zero sense to me. But I just have this like connection to her that is quite unhealthy, if I'm being honest. Because I'll like come across her post on Instagram and I'm like, what's Millie up to? I gotta see what's her latest, thing her latest endeavors. How's she doing? Like I know her, like she knows me. How creepy, right? Imagine being a celebrity and having people obsessed with you like that, like wondering what's happening with Millie. She's a cutie pie though. And I got attached to her character in season 1 of Stranger Things. Is really what it is. I mean, who knows if I would even like the young lady in real life? I don't know, but I still see her as 11, the character 11. It's such a nice day here today. It's going to be in the 80s this week, which I don't love because I was really looking forward to keeping in cooler fall temperatures, but that's okay. That is okay. I'm doing a marshmallow fragrances video today, so I wanted to keep my look in keeping with that, but then I get all distracted and try to do all this other fun stuff. So anyway, tell me about the series that you would advise that I watch. I think Joss, if I remember correctly, at Joss's Fragrance Mixology, she did a video where she reviewed some of the series that she's been watching. I need to go back and rewatch that now that I'm ready for some more stuff and see what she recommends. This color is called Talk to My Agent. I don't even know if this goes with my look. Talk to my agent. Imagine. Talk to my agent. I am my agent. I'm my own agent. Yeah, that's a little bit boring on the eye. Another thing I'm going to take on this trip that I didn't put into the video today. Don't laugh at me, okay? I'm going to take my Stanley cup. I'll put a little picture up in here for you. Look, it holds 40 ounces of fluid, which I love because I can fill it up in my hotel room with ice and whatever beverage I want. Like, I'm probably going to go with like Diet 7-Up or something like that. I'm using this like purpley color called Serving Looks. Lewks. Looks. Anyway, I could fill up the entire Stanley cup with the fluid that I want to sip on all morning and stay hydrated during our meetings without feeling like I'm running over to the office kitchen every 5 minutes to fill it up. So that's going to happen. I have gotten super lazy about my eye makeup lately and just do these really sort of wide, obnoxious swipes. Swipe or no swipe. What is that from? Is that Dora the Explorer? I don't know why that's in my head. Is that what they say? Swipe or no swipe? My son loved those when he was little. Oh my gosh, the days of him watching cartoons. So sweet. I don't even like the look. I don't like it. I love using shadows for liners because it's so forgiving and it's so soft. So much more soft than the harsh pencil liners or liquid liners that I used in my 20s and 30s. So, who's putting together a Christmas list already? Raise your hand in the comments because I am. And I'm telling the kids, if y'all want nice Christmas stuff, y'all better give us some lists. I love Christmas. I love shopping for people. I don't do a whole ton of shopping for everyone because, you know, time. But like I used to shop for coworkers and all of that, and then realized I was driving myself crazy trying to make sure everybody had just the perfect little gift. Now I do the kids, obviously my husband, my mom and sisters. If they have a list, I'll get them stuff. Otherwise, I give them money. My dad doesn't really celebrate Christmas. I'm definitely going to do eyelashes today. False lashes. I'm making a lasagna tonight with some garlic bread, especially for the kids. I don't do all those carbs anymore. I love them, but my body just cannot tolerate it. They love it. And so I'll give it to them. And I will probably do like a noodle-less lasagna in like a ramekin on the side for myself and let them enjoy the noodles and all that. I think this purple will pick up weird on camera. It'll make me look sickly. So I wonder if I should go over it with a little bit of blue. Okay, let me finish this all and I'll come back to chat with y'all at the end of the makeup look. All right, friends. So this is what the final look is like. I forgot to film the ending for y'all and already filmed a fragrance video. It looks great on camera. I was really hoping for a more sort of blue, sultry look, but didn't quite work out that way. That's okay. I like this look. It's pretty simple. I wonder sometimes if using powder as liner under the eyes is really a good thing. In some ways, I feel like it opens the eye up and makes it look bigger and brighter. And in other ways, I feel like maybe it even drags my eye down. I don't know. I experiment sometimes. Sometimes it looks great and sometimes it doesn't. Anyway, I will see y'all soon. I'm probably going to vlog either in the car or, well, I don't have one of those like holders for the car, so that would be really weird. We'll see if that can work out. Or I will vlog in the hotel room. I'm still thinking about like that how to be unbothered video because I want to get into the most unbothered phase of my life. I want pure unbotheredness here as I approach 50. That's something I want to cultivate, just being happy. That doesn't mean ignoring other people. That doesn't mean being inconsiderate, for the sake of pleasing myself. It just means not letting other people's perceptions, ideas, impressions, irritations project onto me in any way. Let's talk about it maybe next time. Take care, friends.